right, and here we go. Welcome, episode 1 of the Kohler Show. I am your host, Kohler. That is my legal first name. That's not a sponsorship. Just want to get that out of the way. I'm sure that maybe one day if this show gets big enough, that will become an issue with the actual company, but it is my legal first name. Today's Wednesday, September 23rd. What a day it's been. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow. Help me out. Check out my rest of my stuff. I'll have the link to my website, other podcasts, blog, all down there. Really trying to make this the next progression in my career path. So, yeah, no sponsorships, but this is, did buy this hat the other day. Impulse buy, great buy. Dad brand, I believe, was the name of the brand. Maybe they'll one day sponsor me. Not sponsored right now. If I was, I wouldn't be doing this for free. But yeah, so it's just a little background. Always been into podcasts, always been into the radio. Original plan out of college in college was to major in journalism and, do sports. Didn't work out. Decided to go the business route. I ended up in corporate America. Do not like it, but here we are. It took me 4 years to figure that out, but it is what it is. This is where we're at now. So, gonna bring to you, try and make the show daily eventually. It is hard to produce all this and come up with content every day, when you're working 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, but we will persist. I'm going to be talking a lot of sports. Gambling. I love to gamble. Movies, music, culture. I love reality TV. I'll be doing The Bachelor recaps, Survivor recaps. What else? Just Monday motivation. Who knows? We'll just keep it whatever I'm feeling that day. So let's start with the NFL. NFL's back. Going into week 3. I'm going to do a weekly rundown. This week I'm not because it's already Wednesday. Jags in Miami play tomorrow. But here's my kind of power rankings, playoff power rankings as I'll have them. The teams I think that are going to make it into the playoffs, now 17 playoffs. I'll start with the AFC. I think it's still the Chiefs division, conference. The Chiefs conference to lose. Patrick Mahomes is still the best player in the league. They're stacked on offense. They have a good, solid defense. He's never going to be out of the game. He just locked up that 10-year contract. I think they're happy with that. Chiefs, I think that's an easy pick. Defending Super Bowl champions, look great out the gate. Kind of struggle with the Chargers, but always struggle with the Chargers. And Chargers have a good defense. Number 2, I got the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, reigning MVP. This is just a stacked roster. The Ravens can legitimately, they're contender. They have a legitimately good defense, probably the best corner duo in the game. Kind of maybe the weakness is safety, but I mean they get a good pass rush. They can put up points. They can control the clock. That's probably the Chiefs' biggest. Even though everybody wants to talk about how Lamar can't throw the ball last year in the playoffs and lost to the Tennessee Titans. He does look better this year. He does have more weapons this year, and they will develop because a lot of them are young. Number 3, the Bills. I think the Bills take this division. New England looks good. New England looks good with Cam. The Bills. Josh Allen's legit. He's legitimately, he actually has somebody to throw to now with Stephon Diggs. They're a legitimate team. I think it's hard to say that. I think it's going to be closer than what people think with the Patriots. But I think the Bills, they're just red hot. They're red hot right now. They play defense. They can score now quickly. Bills, I have number 3, winning the AFC East. Titans, I went in the AFC South. This is the most debatable division for me in my head. I kind of like what Indianapolis is doing. I think Houston, they can get hot at any time. I hate Bill O'Brien. I think he's on his way out anyways. So I think it's more Indianapolis and Tennessee than anything else. But I don't think that, I think Tennessee is the most proven team. Tannehill surprisingly looks the same. They won a game without A.J. Brown. So Corey Davis getting it done. Row the boat. Corey Davis getting it done as their star wide receiver right now. Jonnu Smith looking great, taking a step forward. And Derrick Henry hasn't been carrying the team. Like, they have been winning the games on defense and throwing the ball. So, Tennessee, I have winning their division. But Pittsburgh, I would say, is better than Tennessee. Pittsburgh, I have with that first wild card spot. Because, now there's 3 wild cards. Yeah. Pittsburgh, I have with that first wild card spot. They look great. Ben's back. He's got so many weapons. Claypool, I think, is legitimate. Benny Snell was a legit number 2 back now. It's proven. He had a 100-yard game week 1. Connor's back. They're a little banged up on the offensive line. Defense, though, probably top 3 defenses in the league, if not number 1. It's debatable on if they're number 1 defense. But they get after the quarterback. They can force turnovers, and they can put up points. They have a solid running game, and Ben's back. Offense is coming together nicely. I wouldn't say it's elite yet, but they have weapons with Claypool, Washington, Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster looks great. Okay, so Pittsburgh's looking really good. Next, I got New England. New England is with Cam. They compete with the Seahawks, and the Seahawks look great. I think they are going to run into some issues there with Cam running the ball all the time. I don't know if he'll be able to hold up for the whole season at 31 years old. I don't know if they're going to be able to win a lot of every game like that. Their defense is still solid. Russell Wilson, the Seahawks, who are at a historic pace right now, they did put up 5 touchdowns on a Bill Belichick defense, but they were in that game. They had a chance to win it. A little predictable there at the end, but New England's no joke. The AFC is these are a lot of competitive teams. I would put the Chiefs and Ravens at tier 1, and then the Bills, Steelers, and Patriots at tier 2. And those are teams that, you never know. On a good Sunday, they can beat one of those teams. So, last spot, I have my home team, Las Vegas Raiders. Looked really good Monday night against the Saints and Drew Brees. Can they keep it up? I don't know. I think Henry Ruggs will develop, and he'll come along as a deep threat. Kind of confusing with their wide receiver situation. They put so many wide receivers out there, and Josh Jacobs looked good week 1, looked not that good week 2, but the Saints defense is pretty good against the run. We'll see. We'll see with the Raiders. I'm not completely sold, but I have them at my 7 spot right now in the playoffs. Let's go to the NFC. Let's switch over to my... There we go. Here's my team. All right, so number 1, I have Seattle winning the NFC West. Seattle, they look like the best team in the league right now. Defense might become an issue. Jamal Adams, what a trade that was, Jamal Adams. He's literally, anytime you watch their defense, he's in the screen making a play. He did get beat by Julian Edelman, I think, twice, kind of on some weird routes where Cam kind of bought some time, and Julian Edelman did get there. But he's 14 tackles and a sack and a forced fumble and 3 tackles. He was all over the field making plays. Difference maker for this defense. I don't know if they can step up to that next level, though. The defensive line's kind of concerning. I think they lost Bruce Irvin, I don't know if it's out on Bruce Irvin yet, but it looked like he tore his ACL. I think they said earlier in the week. So pass rush there's a concern. Not bringing back Clowney might come back to bite them. But with the way that Russ and the offense look right now, pretty scary. Another thing, Rashad Penny, who hasn't been really healthy, first round pick out of San Diego State, hasn't been healthy a whole lot. But when he's on the field, he busts out these long runs, and he can really be, a 3 rotational backs with Carson, Carlos Hyde, and Penny there. You're looking at an offense with Russell Wilson. DK Metcalf is taking a huge step, like I predicted, and I think he's going to be the next T.O. in the league. I think he's a T.O. type player because obviously he's ripped, but he's big, fast, strong. He's in that T.O. mold. Tyler Lockett, great possession receiver. They'll get Josh Gordon back midway through the season. I really don't. I still don't get why teams are signing this guy after he keeps having all these issues. And he hasn't produced like he did when he was with the Browns, with either the Patriots or the Seahawks last year. But teams are still giving him a chance. I don't know if he'll really make that big of a difference. I think Moore is just as good a receiver. Yeah, I don't know. But Lockett and Metcalf look great. And, they have tight ends. Disley looked great before he tore his Achilles. I don't know if he'll go back to that level this year, because usually it takes a full year to get there with an Achilles, but Seahawks look great. Number 2, I'm going to take kind of away from this team to talk about my team. So Green Bay just absolutely has trounced the Vikings and the Lions. They look good. Aaron Rodgers, super efficient. What more can you say? They haven't been tested, but they looked good in these 2 games. Are they going to be able to keep it up? Is the defense legit? Not playing 2 very strong, solid offenses yet. We'll see. I think we'll see here in the next couple of weeks how Green Bay is really, because these 2 teams, the Vikings and the Lions that they played, they did not show up really well. So let's talk about Detroit real quick. It's just, I'm not even really from Detroit. I was born in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I grew up in Las Vegas as of the age of 2 or 3. But I've always been a Lions fan. And people are always like, Kohler, why are you a Lions fan? The year I became a Lions fan, I wouldn't even say the year. When I became a Lions fan, it was because, my grandfather, my dad, rooted for the Lions. And so it was just naturally the team I rooted for. And the Pistons and the Red Wings and the Tigers, Michigan football, which is his own issue. But here we are, year 3, Matt Patricia, and I come into this season, I'm one of those hopeful Lions fans. I'm always one of the hopeful Lions fans who's like, you know what? He brought in more guys for his system. Year 3, drafting for his system, free agent signings for his system. He's got a veteran quarterback. We have now 3 really good running backs. We have 2 solid receivers with Amendola in the slot. Hawkinson, a first-round draft pick. We spent back-to-back pick on guards in this draft. Why? Because I thought it was going to be so that we could just mash the ball down people's throats, but I don't know. Ragnow, center, first-round pick. Before that, we took Laken Tomlinson, not even on the team anymore. Started for a Super Bowl team last year. Taylor Decker, first-round pick at left tackle. Vaitai, who hasn't even played for us yet, but right tackle, $10 million a year. Offensive line's rebuilt. We have Crosby's not that bad. As a backup, he was a 5th-round pick who slipped because of injury issues. He doesn't play that bad. We have Joe Dahl, who we gave a big extension for. It wasn't really a big extension, but an extension. He's a Bob Quinn guy. Defense, we got, Jared Davis. He's a first-round pick. Trey Flowers, we paid him $90 million or whatever. We have Justin Coleman in the slot. We got Desmond Trufant, a former Pro Bowler. Jeff Okudah, we spent with the 3rd pick. Amani Aruwariye. Who had flashes, 2 picks last year. He was picked in the 5th round. He's a 6'2" corner who looked, he looked like he was going to be drafted higher, and we kind of stole him. We got Tracy Walker and Will Harris, 3rd-round picks, traded for Deron Harmon. We got Jamie Collins, who was a stud for the Patriots. We got Tavai, who was drafted in the 2nd round. Christian Jones, for some reason, got a big pay extension. I don't know why. Julian Akwara in the 3rd round, who's got this guy who's supposed to be had the best pass rushing grade per Pro Football Focus. And we blew a game against Chicago at home because of the coverages, really. Trubisky straight up said he knew what we were going to do, so he just kept throwing it up the sidelines, and boom, 17 points in 12 or 13 minutes or whatever it was. Then we go up against the Packers. We're up 14-3, and just blow the game away. Just nothing. Just offense stagnant. Defense Literally, Aaron Rodgers was standing there picking us apart. Aaron Rodgers, no pressure on him. No blitzing. Man coverage with a single high safety and a quarterback spy. Just like every other game. They figured it out, Matt. They figured it out. All the NFL's figured it out. They figured you out, bud. I think they figured out the first year, and then you got lucky in a game against Kansas City, which we lost last year. And then you got lucky in a game against Green Bay where we were in the game and we lost because the offense couldn't finish plays in the red zone. And so now we're at a point, delusional Lions fan syndrome, not ready to give up yet. I'm not ready to give up yet on the season. I know I should be. I'm betting against the team this week again with the Cardinals because Cardinals look great. I'll talk about them in a second. So now we have this Frankenstein team of Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn that's supposed to be like the next, New England Patriots NFC North version. And it looks awful on the field right now. I mean, Galladay's back. Okuda, I mean, he's a rookie corner. So, it's going to be hard for him. But can we get something working, please? I would like to see a playoff win in my lifetime. I'm not even going to say Super Bowl because the thought of the Lions being in a Super Bowl is just so out there for me. We need to turn it around now. If we lose this week, I'm out. I'm out. Fire Patricia, fire Quinn. You might as well do it at the bye week because it's just, I don't know what else to say. Like, you get beat by the same shit every week. And I'm not saying that, I have the answers, but blitz. Get some pressure on the quarterback. That's a good way to force bad throws. He coached under Bill Belichick for 16 years? And we can't get a defense together? He was a rocket scientist? We can't get a defense together? It's ridiculous. I don't know what else to say. They looked awful last week. And they looked awful in the fourth quarter against the Bears. And the Bears, I don't think are that good. So they beat us and they played the Giants without Saquon Barkley and without Sterling Shepard and without Golden Tate, and they won. Good for them. Bears off to a hot start, and I think they play a bad team again this week. I think it's the Jets. It's just, bro. Whoever the next guy is, just please. Back to Green Bay. I already talked about them. We'll see. I'm not sold on Green Bay, but I have them as my number 2 team. You can't say it's like a homer, salty thing. They're my number 2 team in the NFC. Behind Seattle, who I think has had a more impressive win against New England. Number 3, Tampa Bay. Tom Brady and this offense are going to get better every week. Fournette is legit. He's busting out huge runs. Ronald Jones, not bad either. LaShawn McCoy, good receiving back. Mike Evans. Godwin's healthy now. Mike Evans healthy now. Gronk and O.J. Howard, they're going to get their groove back with Tom Brady there. Tampa Bay is a scary team, and they're going to be my Super Bowl pick for the NFC. I have Chiefs Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl right now. But, yeah, they're my number 3 team in the NFC. I think they're going to improve every week. I think we're going to see that. They play Carolina this week, so there you go. Number 4 team, and this is just purely because there's no other really good team. Dallas in the NFC the East, NFC East. Dallas is just all the talent in the world. They can't put it together. Mike McCarthy was such a bad hire. You bring in the guy that couldn't get it done with Aaron Rodgers, so you just recycle his coaching staff over to the Cowboys, expect it to work. They have a few injury issues. I mean, if Dak doesn't put up 40 points a game, he's not your guy. They got the best receiving core by far in the NFL. They got probably now the best running back with McCaffrey and Barkley on IR. They got the best running back in the NFL and the best receiving core in the NFL. They have a dual threat quarterback. They have a solid offensive line again. And their defense, I mean, they're a little banged up, but I mean, they're in a better position than a lot of teams. They have a good pass rush. They have a young secondary. I mean, Jalen Smith's not bad. Sean Lee and Leighton Vander Esch will be back, so that'll help them out a lot. I don't know, man. Not sold on Dallas yet. That was a rough first half to watch against the Atlanta Falcons, and then they turned it around. I mean, Atlanta's a mess, but it was a great game. They turned it around. Dallas, we'll see. Not sold. Not counting them out. Philadelphia can still make a run at this thing, by the way. Fifth team, first wild card team, I have Arizona. Arizona looks really good. Kyler Murray looks really good. Can we say Kyler Murray's the best athlete possibly in sports history right now, too? He's the only player that was drafted in 2 major sports leagues in the top 10 picks. Top 10 MLB pick, number 1 overall NFL pick. He looks really good. DeAndre Hopkins added. What a steal by the Cardinals on the Texans in that trade. It really just shows how stupid Bill O'Brien is, but steal of a trade. And it opened up kind of cap space to, getting $10 million of David Johnson off your books. Who's not doing anything for the Texans, by the way. They look good. The defense is coming together. I mean, that's a team. Watch out for them. That's a tier 2 team in the NFC. I think it's probably Seattle, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay, and then Arizona and New Orleans probably tier 2. And then you're looking at Rams and Dallas. I got Rams as my next wild card team. I don't know how they're going to pay all these guys. They're giving everybody contracts. I don't know how they're going to keep a team together. They don't have a lot of draft picks. Haven't had a lot of draft picks past couple years because they keep trading all their draft picks for star players like Jalen Ramsey. But, I mean, hey, they look good right now. The offense is kind of buzzing. That running back by committee thing's working. Sean McVay's calling plays well. We'll see if defenses start figuring it out, but right now they look good. New Orleans, I got as my last team. I think they will improve. Drew Brees looks bad. I shouldn't say bad. Drew Brees looks rough. He looks rough, but I think he can get it together. And if he can get it together, they got Jameis still. Taysom Hill hasn't been utilized as much as he used to be for some reason. We'll see if that comes back. They're leaning a lot on Alvin Kamara. And I know not having Michael Thomas that one game, that's kind of rough because that's where a lot of Drew Brees' targets go to is him on those slants. And, we'll see with New Orleans. I mean, it can go both ways. They got a solid defense. They got a lot of – the New Orleans Saints are like if the NFL was a Madden franchise, they're the kid who just like goes through free agency after the draft. When you get to preseason week 1, they go through the free agency and all the highest rated players are like, oh, I'll just sign him and he'll be a backup. That's what they are. So, Janoris Jenkins, Malcolm Jenkins, all these guys are like older, used to be star players who are just, now they're on the Saints. And, they show flashes. Malcolm Jenkins showed flashes, but he also got beat a few times and, we'll see what the Saints are. We'll see. All right, let's talk about my other team. Big Ten's back. We'll call this the Michigan Minute. University of Michigan football. Big Ten's back. Michigan, who we'll talk about their issues when the season gets closer, October 24th. We'll talk about their issues, issues I have with them, how they play. But I feel like we took a solid step. So we have a starting quarterback going in the season, Joe Milton. He's got a full month and a half or however long he's been the starting quarterback. I don't know. I haven't been at practice. Joe Milton's starting quarterback. Dylan McCaffrey's out. I mean, that kind of sucks. I like McCaffrey. I like the family. I It's absolutely the right move for him to just opt out and transfer. Gives him 2 years of eligibility. I mean, he can go somewhere. I think he's a legitimate player. He's a 6'5", 220-pound dual threat quarterback with obvious bloodlines. His brother's one of the best running backs in the NFL. He's got another brother at Nebraska who's going to be good. He's going to be good. And, we'll see where he goes. I'm happy that he's going somewhere else if he's not going to be the starting guy. Joe Milton, hearing Cam Newton comparisons, don't want to hear it. I want to see it. Joe Milton, we'll see if he adds, a whole nother year into this Josh Gaddis system, this spread system. It took until, midway through the year for this system to really look good. And still, even then, Shea Patterson was dropping the ball every couple plays. But, whole nother year in the system. We get Josh Gaddis recruits in now who are fast. These guys are fast, like 4.3 fast receivers. We got fast running backs. The old line looks good. Not a lot of starters. Mayfield's coming back, it looks like. Looks like Ambry Thomas is going to try and come back. Nico Collins didn't declare for the draft last year. Said he had unfinished business or whatever. And then the season was, delayed till spring. He didn't say anything. And then the season went back on, and he said that, then all of a sudden he got an agent. So I don't know why he would wait until the season gets back on and we can compete again for him to be like, oh wait, now I got an agent again. Receiver is very deep in this draft, so I don't know why he wouldn't want to put more things on tape after only having 700 yards last year, which that's not bad. He's still a first round fringe talent, depending. He's going to test well. He's fast. But if he comes back, this is where my delusional Michigan fandom came in. Immediately, the delusional Michigan fan syndrome hit my head when I saw the schedule. And we have the hardest schedule in the Big Ten, but I looked at it and I go, we get through week 3 with 3-0. We get through Minnesota, Michigan State, Wisconsin, 3-0, and we can go and play some Indianas and Rutgers and Maryland's. Maryland's going to be improved. Loxley's in year 2. And Indiana doesn't look that bad, but still, we're Michigan and they're Indiana. If we can get through those first 3 weeks, my Michigan delusional fan syndrome literally went, Milton's going to get a bunch of playing time. The team's going to improve. We're going to look, if we look great. December 12th, all of a sudden, we're playing Ohio State in the snow. We're built to run the ball. I don't know. It hit me, and then I had to take a step back, and I had to say, you know what? We've been here before. We know what's going to happen. We think we know what's going to happen, is what I should say. We think we know what's going to happen. And on my other sports podcast, debate sports podcast, my best friend Fish, he is an Ohio State fan, and I know he will be laying into me. But I don't know. In this weird COVID year, anything can happen. And I'm going to leave it at that. Milton in, McCaffrey out. Get through week 3. Who knows? I was going to talk about Juwan Howard and Michigan basketball. We're going to skip that this week. I'll lay off. All right, tomorrow night, Thursday night football. Jacksonville versus Miami. Let's talk betting. Let's talk gambling. Who should you put your money on? I hit on Monday. I got the Raiders money line and the over. That paid out really well. Let's see if we can keep it rolling. Now this game's a little tougher than that one because Jacksonville and Miami are two of those, middle of the road, what the fuck teams where you're kind of like, what's going on with these teams? Miami is definitely probably 2 years away from being a contender. Tua still hasn't even been tackled. They got Fitzmagic, and I hope Fitzmagic starts for the whole year. Tua really needs that until maybe, the last quarter of the year, get Tua some games in. But don't risk it. And then they need to stack up some draft. They did great in the draft. They brought in a lot of really good players in free agency. We'll see if they can build off that. But they're not there. Jacksonville, who appears to be fully tanking. Appeared? They got rid of every single young good player they drafted, and they're still hanging around with teams. Gardner Minshew, I think they were kind of tanking for a quarterback, maybe Trevor Lawrence, and Gardner Minshew comes out and he's looking not bad. His touchdown interception ratio is really good. Actually top 4 in the league since he's been in the league. And he's hitting guys. He's being efficient. He's not making bad decisions. He's not losing them in the game. And I mean, he's got the stash. He's got the swagger. I don't think that they're gonna. I think they're kind of like the Bills teams of the past, where you're like, they get through 6 weeks and they're 5-1, 4-2, and you're like, wow, the Bills might be this. Maybe they're for real. I don't think they're for real. I think they're competing with teams, and I think they're coming out fired up, and I think Gardner Minshew's a good leader. But I don't think that they're going to stay like this. In this game, I'm taking Miami with the money line. I know Byron Jones is probably not going to play. Miami can still score. Miami hung around with Buffalo. Let's remember that. And Jacksonville hung around with Tennessee. Buffalo's better than Tennessee. Jacksonville beat Indianapolis. Indianapolis is there. We don't know really what they are yet. But I think Miami comes out. I think Fitzmagic makes it happen. I think I'm going to take Miami money line. If I was to take, I believe the spread was 2.5 points, 3. I mean, if you want to take the spread there. The over-under was 48 or 47.5, depending on what you use. I would take the over on that. The defenses, I mean, this game could become a shootout. I could see it being a 31-21 kind of game. I could see it being I don't know. I'm not going to touch the over-under. If I had to, I would take the over, just because, over wins. And then let's talk about daily fantasy, because that's where I really win the money. And that's, I actually enjoy that kind of more with these games where you don't really have a rooting interest anyways. So you just root for players. I love fantasy football. I've been playing it for years. For your captain pick the player who I think is going to score the most, 1.5 times points. This is all DraftKings stats and costs. Captain pick, I'm going to take Gesicki, the tight end. He caught 8 passes for 130 yards. He works a lot out of the slot. 8 passes for 130 yards, touchdown, 2-point conversion last week. The Jaguars defense gave up, 80, 90 yards and 2 touchdowns to Jonnu Smith, Tennessee's tight end last year. Fitzpatrick loves Gesicki. He came along at the end of last year, and then he had a great game last week. I think Gesicki's going to have a big game against the Jaguars. A steal, if you're looking for a steal, one of those guys that has less, Matt Breida is going for $1,800. You can really take 5 really good players and then get Breida, and Breida's a home run threat. And he's a receiving back. Miami's other 2 backs, Gaskin and Howard, are more power backs, eye backs. Breida, home run threat. So with those steal picks anyways, you're looking for something like that. Breida, $1,800. Lynn Bowden Jr., let me double check this. I believe he was $600. He played quite a few snaps last week. He caught 1 pass for -1 yards, but his usage is going to go up. Let's see. I know that I had him. Where'd he go? Lynn Bowden going for $200. You can really just grab the top best players and then grab Lynn Bowden and hope that he, catches a few passes or maybe scores a lucky touchdown. Let's see, Monday night it was Ingold, the fullback, or Zay Jones, the 5th string receiver for the Raiders. If you can get one of those guys with a bunch of guys you know are going to score in a daily fantasy, you'll get in the money. And if that guy has a really good game, if somebody like Lynn Bowden at $200 and probably only like 0.5% of people playing are going to take him, if he really goes off, that's a great pick. So those are my steals. Breida, 1,800. Lynn Bowden, $200 steal there at the end. His usage is going to go up. The key is to get these low usage guys before their usage goes up. Last week, my pick was Chase Claypool. Had an 80-yard touchdown. Had another 2 catches. That helped me pay. That paid out for me. That's all I needed. I was able to take good star players against bad matchups, and then Chase Claypool. And Chase Claypool got that touchdown. And that's kind of how you got to do it in DraftKings. So Miami money line. For my captain pick, I'm going to take Gesicki for $11,100. And then a steal if you want one, Bowden or Breida. Bowden, 200, Breida, 1,800. That's all I really got for you guys today. Kind of a light episode. Still working on this, still working on timing. It's really hard just talking to yourself. All I got is football. I promise there will be more. I promise I'll talk about other things than football. But football's what I know. Detroit, get it together. But yeah, low production right now too. I'm hoping to get, kind of music, kind of like some graphics. Graphics are cool. But yeah, basically, this is all I got for today. I'll be back not tomorrow night, Friday night. I'll be back Friday night trying to make this daily thing, but we got to work up to it. End goal, Barstool Sports. Barstool Sports, hit me up. So yeah, that's it. Episode 1. This is The Kohler Show.